Hello guys, I am creating this video for the beginners who want to understand Oracle Cloud infrastructure. Here I am making a comparison between a non-cloud and a cloud infrastructure, that how the resources or the physical hardwares that we are having in a non-cloud infrastructure that are being maintained in the cloud infrastructure. And here I will give a demonstration for Oracle Cloud. So first of all, in order to get the idea about the Oracle Cloud, we have to understand what is happening inside the non-cloud architecture. In case of non-cloud architecture, whenever you want to create the infrastructure to get access into it, you should have network appliances, storage, security devices, and network load balancing devices. So for getting configured a compute instance, what you have to do? You have to connect the network resources to the compute instance, NLB, storage, and the security devices, so that it should be properly secured. You have to attach the storage device so that you could save the datas in the storage device. You have to connect the network device so that you could give the access to the server as private access and public access, right? Same structure is followed in the Oracle Cloud. In Oracle Cloud, they have created this whole infrastructure in cloud where a compute instance is connected to the network, to the storage, and to the security devices. But as in the non-cloud infrastructure, you have the physical hardware where it is placed inside the network, but it is not in the case of cloud. So what you can do, Oracle has provided compartment. Now what is compartment? Compartment is basically a group of services, or rather you can say it is group of resources. It is configured inside the compartment. Like in train, what we say, there are different compartments like AC compartment, non-AC compartment. Here also, in cloud also you can create multiple compartment. Like for production, you create one compartment. For dev, you create one compartment. For R&D, you create one compartment, and they have totally separate network area, storage area, everything. In compartment, what are the resources available? Virtual cloud network, NLBs, storage, compute instance, etc. Now, say suppose you want to connect a resource to the compute instance. So for this, like in the non-cloud infrastructure, what you require? You require a compute instance. Like here also in cloud architecture also you require one compute instance. But you have to access this compute instance from the remote, means outside the cloud network. So if you have to access this compute instance, you will be required in a network. So in case of cloud architecture, here they provide this virtual cloud network, VNC. This is called virtual cloud network. Inside the virtual cloud network, you have to create subnet. Like in the non-cloud infrastructure also, you have to create subnet, and inside subnet there will be gateways, right? So here also inside the subnet you will create gateway, so that you will get two different or multiple type of different subnets, like one for private access, one for public access. Now once the VNC is created, you assign this VNC to the compute instance. Now your system is ready to create and get access from the outside of the cloud network. But here the question is, how you will access this device from the outside network without any secured network? So for this, Oracle has provided one SSH keygen. Now what is SSH keygen? SSH keygen is a secured file that is a secured file you have to create prior creating this compute instance. In your local infrastructure, you create this SSH keygen, public key and private key. That you can create through PuTTY or any Unix and Linux system, or from Windows also. Okay. Once your key is generated, the public key will be configured in the compute instance, and the private key will be shared to the persons who will be accessing the server, right? Now the question is, once your compute node is created, you have to install any kind of resources like database, application, web services, etc. Say suppose here we are configuring one database DB, and it is a Oracle database. Oracle database. In the non-cloud infrastructure also, whenever you create a database, to get access the database from the outside network, you create a listener. And you assign one port to the listener. Say suppose 1528 is the port number. You create this listener, and say suppose if any node want to access this, they will have one TNS file, tnsnames.ora. Here this listener's port information will be present, and they will get connected to this database. But in case of cloud infrastructure, how you will get connect to the database? One person is sitting over here, he has to connect to this database, but in order to get connect to the database, he has to connect to this cloud network, right? For getting connected to the cloud network, he requires this private key. This private key he will keep with him, and once he gets this private key, he will able to connect to this cloud network, and he will able to connect to this database server. But how he can connect, how he can get connection to this database directly? He cannot, because he has to pass this SSH key. He has to get a secured connection through this SSH key. Now I will explain how he will make connection to this database. Say suppose you are using SQL developer. In SQL developer, what we pass in local system, we just pass username, password, and the connection string, that is host name or IP address and the port number. Here in case of cloud, you mention this username, password, hostname, IP address and port. But how it will get this SSH key? For this, you have to make SSH tunneling. Once you create this SSH tunneling, there you will mention this file location of the SSH key, that is this file, private key. Once you locate the private key in the SSH tunnel and you configure the username, password, host name and port number, you will able to get connect to the database, and it will be connected with a secured connection. This is all about how you create a compute instance in cloud architecture and how you get connect to the database. I hope you like this video. In next video, I will share you how to configure storage, and how to get how to allocate the storage to the compute instance. Thanks for watching.